a psychological thriller. Copyright 2025. By Wdowski. The warning. The helicopter was above New York Harbor. Sean was flying towards a large, sleek, modern superyacht. "That's yours?" May asked over the headset. "Technically, it belongs to a company I put together to build her. I am the largest shareholder," he answered as the yacht became larger and larger on their approach. "I never understood the need for private superyachts when most people don't even have a rowboat. Buying a superyacht helps many to buy their own boats and more." He answered her, a bit disappointed in May's comment. "How is that?" Taking her eyes off the vessel, she turned to look directly at him. "How is having a superyacht help others?" He stopped the approach and let the helicopter hover in place. He turned to face her, answering into the headset. "Do you have any idea how many people it took to build that yacht?" 50. She guessed. Hundreds. Over 500 naval architects, marine engineers, structural engineers, project managers, logistic coordinators, fabricators, welders, electricians, plumbers, interior designers, carpenters, painters, coaters. Not to mention those that built the engines. All of them support families. Those families spend money in their communities and buy products from around the world, supporting more companies, more employees, and more families. He justified the ship. That is just to build her. The crew to keep her operational is several million per year in salaries and benefits for them and their families. May could feel the chill even through the headset, but decided to stand up to him. They could be building lots of small boats for more people. They could. True. He pointed at the small ship that was in the middle of the harbor. "Do you understand what I actually do? You invest other people's money and make a profit." She answered, sure of herself, that that was basically what he does. Is much more than that. "I find ways to raise the capital, the needed funds, so dreamers, inventors, creators can see their ideas become realities. Ideas that create new industries and new jobs that support families. Those new products and services often help boost most people's standards of living." He took a deep breath. May could see he was controlling his emotions before saying anything more. He closed his eyes for a moment and then opened them, calmer and cooler than before. "My father was a dreamer. He had ideas. He had many great, wonderful ideas, but no one invested in him. If they had, I do not think my mother would have ever left him." She felt she had hit a sensitive nerve with him. His defensive reaction frightened her slightly. He looked at the ship just below them and continued, "That ship was one of my father's dreams. My building her, it proves my mother was wrong about my dad. Your father invented superyachts, which made no sense to May. There had been superyachts for decades. The Frugal is the first naval craft to be powered by a thorium reactor. One of Dad's ideas. Thorium. Thorium generates no pollution, no threats of meltdowns, can run for decades without refueling, and uses spent nuclear waste that now fill landfills for thousands of years. The Frugal is a working prototype of the future of maritime trade and leisure. No more burning oil, no more polluting the seas and atmosphere. Think of all the cargo ships, cruise liners, based on that power system. She can circle the Earth 80 or more times without refueling once." "How much did it cost to build?" She began to look at the vessel and at Sean with different eyes. $250 billion in research, development, and final construction. Creating any new technology is always the greatest cost. Think of the first computers. They cost millions of dollars and filled entire rooms. Those old supercomputers led to your smartphone that most people carry with them every day at a fraction of the cost and are extremely more powerful than those first multi-million-dollar computers. Should they have not built them? Because most at the time could not afford their own. He had made these arguments countless times to mainstream media reporters that he felt had no interest in reporting facts, but were more interested in pushing an anti-capitalist narrative. He didn't want to give her a TED Talk, but wanted her to truly understand those initial costs will generate hundreds of trillions in wealth while protecting the environment and cleaning up the nuclear waste of old-fashioned reactors. He took another calming breath, just getting through the political loops from government agencies. Cost the company over $50 million. He proudly looked at his ship. The hard part is done. The Frugal is the future, now. May was impressed. She, like most people, loved her comforts. Her car, designer bags, central air, modern medical care, entertainment in her pocket, and the choices of foods from around the world at her fingertips. Everyone loved and expected all the comforts and luxuries of the modern world, yet at the same time, they often demonized men like Sean that helped make it all happen. I never thought of it that way before. She confessed, no longer feeling frightened of him. Sean was pleased that she was able to understand. I feel I understand you more and more, Sean. May smiled. Thank you. Sean seemed confused. Thank you? Thank you for the dresses. Well, yes, that too. But more importantly, thank you for letting me know you better. Sean blushed a bit from her comment. Her thank you hit him deeply, but he seemed to try to suppress the emotion. He turned his attention back to his approach of the Frugal. He expertly landed the helicopter on the superyacht. 2 crewmen quickly came out from the yacht and began securing the helicopter to the small ship. Sean helped her out of the helicopter and offered his arm for May to take. With her hooked onto his arm, he escorted her to the aft section of the ship. As they made their way, he turned to her. I am very proud of you. I haven't done anything. His approval meant more to her than she thought it would. As they made their way through the craft, she realized that the small private sailboats and small yachts she had enjoyed in her youth did not prepare her for the Frugal. The ship was more like a floating mansion than an ocean-going craft. When they reached the aft pool deck section of the vessel, May was floored by how many famous faces suddenly turned to look at her. Most held crystal champagne flutes and were enjoying bite-sized appetizers offered to them on silver trays held by the serving staff. The deck was crowded with senators, congressmen and women, billionaires and their supermodel wives, famous movie star couples, and sports figures with their trophy wives. It was as if she had finally been invited to the elite annual Met Gala. May, no one important, suddenly had the attention of some of the most popular and powerful individuals in the world. Why are they all staring at me? She whispered as she found their laser-like attention on her a bit unsettling. She tightened her grip on Sean's arm. Well, he whispered from the side of his mouth as he smiled and greeted his guests. Besides being the most beautiful eye candy they have ever seen, none of them have seen anyone on my arm before. You heard of my nickname, no? The monk of finance, she answered. He turned to her and smiled. Shall we join the party? As he led her among the powerful party guests. Still holding on to Sean for security, many of the men approached, congratulated him on the Frugal, and asked how they too could invest in the technology for other vessels. As Sean answered their questions, many of the extremely attractive women engaged May. They all opened by admiring her kimono and asking, "Who are you wearing?" After May would answer, they would broaden their smiles and politely begin digging to know who she was and what was her relationship with Sean Brighton. Later the party moved to the top open deck, where a large dining room table had been set up. Under the majesty of the Statue of Liberty, an impressive skyline of lower Manhattan, in the near distance, they were served by a serving staff in pristine white sailor uniforms. It was a feast of seafood from around the world and never-ending glasses of champagne. One of the servers leaned over to fill May's goblet. As she did so, she whispered in May's ear, "Do not marry my son." May turned to see that the server was Sean's mother. The gray-haired woman smiled, said nothing more, and went on to serve the other guests. May was stunned, thinking to herself, talk about a protective and possessive mother. No wonder Sean has not been with anyone before.